Hi students, today we're looking at the volume formulas for cubes and triangular prisms and rectangular prisms. Your learning target is I can find the volume of basic shapes, and you'll just need this paper and a pencil to complete the assignment. So one thing that I told you that you're going to love about volume is that there's always a formula that you follow for volume. So we're going to start right off with that. And I'm going to just tell you first that the formula for volume is V equals capital B times H, lowercase h. Now, when I have talked to you in the past, we say sometimes like the area of a square is base times height. But have you ever noticed that it's a lowercase b? Lowercase b's just mean the base, the line along the base of the rectangle. So this would be the B and this would be the H. But a capital B, when we're referring to math formulas, a capital B means area. So the capital B means area. So really, the formula for volume is volume equals, or I'm sorry, the B equals area of base. So really, volume equals the area of the base times the height. I'm going to write that in, area of base, and we're going to multiply it by the height. All right, so area of base times height is our formula for volume. Now, if you don't know what volume is, we've looked at surface area, which is just the area on the outside of the shape. Volume is how much the shape can hold. So the volume is how much, like if I was to fill this shape with water, how much water would be inside of that. It's how much a shape or how much space a shape has inside of it. Okay, and volume is very simple to find. You need 3 measurements. Almost always just need 3 measurements. You're going to need the length of the one side, the width, and the height. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this rectangular prism first. And this length is going to be 6 inches. And then this width is going to be 3 inches. And the height is going to be 5. And I'm just going to write it over here so it's all on the white, 5 inches. All right, so I have the length and the width and the height. Now, some people prefer, for rectangular prisms, they prefer to use the formula volume equals length times width times height. But when you're doing length times width times height, length times width is just the area of the base. So it's the same exact formula as over here. They just prefer to write it differently. So it depends on how you prefer. This is the formula that I always remembered. But then this formula is handy when we're doing shapes that aren't rectangular prisms. So if you want to memorize one formula, just memorize this one and remember what the capital B means. If you feel ambitious and you want to memorize 2 formulas, you can do volume equals length times width times height, and that's going to be for rectangular prisms and for cubes, but not for the triangles, not for the triangular prisms. Okay? So the area of the base is going to be this bottom piece. It's 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. And then my height, because volume equals area of base times height, my height is 5. So 18 times 5. And I believe that gives me 90. I'm just going to double check. 18 times 5, it gives us 90. Okay, so 90 is our final answer once we finish multiplying. But whenever we're working with volume, we're talking about how much space this can hold. All the other times we've been talking about just the surface area. And when we've been doing area, it's about area, or we use the label of squared. When we're working with volume, we use the cubed label, this inches cubed or centimeters cubed. Whenever you're working with volume, you're going to have a cubed answer. And I'll explain why in just a moment as I show you something else you're going to do later today. So again, you can work with it as volume equals area of the base times the height, and as you do that math, you'll get 90 inches cubed as your final answer. Let's go ahead and work with this actual cube. And this cube we're going to say is 3 centimeters wide on every side, 3 centimeters high, 3 centimeters long, 3 centimeters wide. So for our volume, we're going to have volume equals area of the base times the height. So the area of the base, well, the base is down here. It's going to be 3 times, this one must also be 3 because it's a cube. So 3 times 3 is 9. So volume equals 3 times 3, the area of the base, 9, times the height. And the height must also be 3 since this is a cube. So the volume equals 9 times 3, which is just 27. So volume equals 27, and that should be an equal sign. And centimeters cubed, 27 centimeters cubed. All right, so your final answer would be 27 centimeters cubed. And if you remember, you look back up at length times width times height, you get the same answer. 3 times 3 times 3 also gives you 27. Okay, and the reason why this works is because with volume, you're trying to find out how many cubic units can fit inside of this shape. So if you picture this shape broken into cubic units, kind of like a Rubik's Cube, it would be how many cubes can you fit inside of this shape? And the way that you determine the width of the cubes is by the type of measurement you're using. So this shape would have 1 centimeter wide cubes. If we did it with this one would have it would have 1 inch cubes, and the base would have 6 going along the bottom, there'd be 5 going up the top, and there'd be 3 going along the sides. And you could picture it like Legos almost, and how many, if you stack 6 wide, 3 back, and built it 5 high, how many Legos would it take you to build that? Okay, and the activity you're going to do a little bit later today will kind of solidify that for you. Okay, then the only other part of this that is somewhat tricky, but it is not too hard, I know you guys can get it, is the triangular prism. So let me erase this stuff. If you need to copy this down, go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, so when we're looking at a triangular prism, we still use the same formula. We still do volume equals area of the base times the height. Okay, so we have volume equals, remember the capital B means area of the base, and the H is for height. So when you're looking at this shape, which side is the base? Take a moment and think about it. Right now, even though it's sitting on this side, I can tell you this is not the base, and there's a very specific reason why. In math, when we're looking at prisms, three-dimensional objects, the base is always the one that has the same shape but twice. So this triangle right here in green that I'm outlining, this triangle also appears on the back side of this triangle. Because there's 2 triangles that are exactly the same measurements, the triangle is actually our base. Okay, and this, if you look at this rectangle right here, this rectangle, it doesn't have a base. It doesn't have the same exact shape somewhere else in the triangular prism. There are other rectangles, but not the same exact measurement. So the base is determined by the shape that has the same exact measurement, as there needs to be at least 2 of them. So if you look back on our cube, the cube has a 3 by 3 shape or square on the bottom, and it has a 3 by 3 square at the top. So that was why we can use this piece as our base and this piece as our base. But if you think about it, because all the measurements are the same on the cube, you can flip it. If you picture rolling a dice, you could flip it, and there'd be many bases because there would all be the same. They'd all have the same. They would all have a pair basically. Okay, so with this triangular prism, we need to look to see which shape has a pair, and therefore that will be our base. And because there are 2 triangles, you can't see the other one because it's a 3-dimensional object, but their other triangle would be right back here, and it would be the same exact measurement as this front triangle, so that is our base. Okay, sorry for the long explanation, just wanted to clarify that. So we have to ask ourselves, well, we need to find the area of the base. So the area of the base, we already determined the base is our triangle. What is the area for triangle, or the formula for the area of a triangle? The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. 1/2 lowercase b base times height. So let's go ahead and throw in some measurements here. This base right here, this line for our triangle, we're going to say is 4, and this height is going to be 6. So we have to do 4 times 6 is 24, and then take half of that. So 24 divided by 2, or half of 24, is 12. So the area of just the triangle, the area of the base, is 12. Okay, so let's plug in what we have for our formula so far. We have V equals 12 times height. And then our height of the triangle, let's say that it's 2. And so we're going to have volume equals 12 times 2. So 12 times 2 is 24. So our volume equals 24. Oh, and I didn't give this one a label. If there's ever not a label, just do units. Units cubed. Okay, so volume equals 24 units cubed. Now, once you kind of have this understanding, just a basic understanding, I put 2 activities here for you to choose from. You don't have to do both. You can if you want to. There's a Minecraft volume game, this first link right here, or there's just a simple volume question. So the Minecraft game has the cubes in it that you would use just like on Minecraft. And then the simple volume questions is more so if you need a little bit more practice with this, you can just work on this link and not worry about the game so much. So let me pull those up so you can see what they look like. So here is the simple volume video, or the simple volume activity. It's not really a game, but what you're going to do is just look at the shape that it gives you and see if you can determine the volume. So this one would be the area of the base times the height. So 3 times 4 is 12, times the height is 1. And then you would just type that in right here and press answer. And if you get it right, your score will go up. It starts at 100%, so if you get some wrong, it'll go down. And as you can see up here, there's 10 questions total. And it'll tell you if you get green is correct, red is incorrect, and yellow means that you took a really long time on the question, but you still got it correct, which is fine. Okay, so that's the first game option. And here is the second game option. This is the Minecraft one. When you click on the link, it'll lead you to this page. You can practice by just doing a few practice problems along the way, or you can press start game. I think you'll catch on fine. And it builds a Minecraft 3D shape for you, and you need to count the area, the cube. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 high by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wide. So 54 times this side would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 54 times 6. You should probably grab a calculator to do this quickly with. 54 times 6 gives you 324. So you type in 324 and press enter, and I earned some gold and diamonds. Okay, and then it'll do it with every shape. And this time bar, if it runs out, it'll just end the game, and then you can start again. It's not a problem. And then every time you do it, your score will increase, and it'll tell you your ranking. So let's say I get this one wrong and I just say that it's 6. I didn't get any points and I didn't earn any gold, and I'm also out of time. So it gives me the points for what I earned, and then it tells me my score and how I ranked. So I got 228, and then over here it says that I got better than 85% of the scores, and I'm 608th as my ranking. So it's up to you which one you want to play. Both of them will help you practice your volume. And then go ahead and just write your best score for either game on this line. And I hope you have some fun practicing volume.